Tim of the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. You know it's the off season when you take a look at Google and you type in the Giants and whatever, and you come up with some of the most stupidest topics that I've ever seen. And one of the topics that I keep seeing over and over again is Saquon Barkley, and how Saquon Barkley is going to sign his massive extension soon for $70 million over X amount of years. Okay, we need to pump the brakes a little bit, and we're going to talk about briefly why this is the dumbest topic of the offseason. Now, first, let's get into the fact that Saquon has a few years left on his contract. He signed a 4-year, $31.1 million fully guaranteed contract. Plus, there is a 5th-year option. So the Giants are not going to sit there going into year 3 and say, oh, you know what we need to wrap up Barkley now. No, because they have time. And people are sitting there going, well, the Cowboys, they signed Elliott and Carolina signed McCaffrey. Okay. 3 different situations. Barkley is a star player on what right now is considered a very bad team. And I'm not saying the 2020 season is going to be bad. I'm saying if you take a look at 2018, they were a bad team. We were a bad team. So, I mean, there's really nothing wrong with saying that. And if you take a look at his statistics, yes, he had a fantastic season in 18, his rookie season, Pro Bowl season, over 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns rushing, another 4 receiving, total of over 2,028 yards from scrimmage. I believe he led the league. And, of course, we all know what happened last season. He got hurt in the Tampa game, and he had kind of a down year. He still had over 1,000 yards at 4.6 yards a carry. But this time he dropped down to only, 8 touchdowns. And a lot of his yards came in a couple games. So it wasn't like he had that spread out. Because, hell, you know what? I love it. The same people that are talking about signing Barkley to the massive extension early are probably the same people that said he was a waste of a draft choice after the Jet game. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's why this is just lunacy. And then people are like, well, he's underpaid. I mean, did anyone ever take a look at his contract and where he ranks right now? In the 2020 season, making over $8 million, Saquon Barkley is the 8th highest paid running back. Now, if you go into 2021, pending if someone signs another contract, but I don't see anyone because everyone else is pretty much signed, he is then the 6th he's the 6th highest paid running back in the league at over $10 million a year. 24 years old, he's making almost $11 million in 2021. And of course, the Giants also have the 5th-year option on him. And then I look at it and I go, people also seem to get, besides the 5th-year option, the Giants also have 2 years of franchise tag eligibility. So we have to take a look at the fact that Barkley needs to prove. I think the Giants are going to be a little gun-shy and leery because of what happened with Odell Beckham. How they gave Odell the big extension, and then he turned around and flaked. Now, we all know that Barkley is not Odell. We know that. I'm not crazy to think that he is, and he is a great kid, and he's becoming active in the community and everything else. But the Giants, like I said before, are still a bad team. We don't know what they are going to be in 2020. They may shock the world in 2020. But Barkley at least needs to have an in-between season. I would say in 2020, he's got to be somewhere between 18 and 19. He's got to be somewhere in there. He's got to have at least, 1,300 yards, maybe at least 10 touchdowns. I don't see, he doesn't have to grab 91 receptions like he did in 18. I think if he, did his 50 or 60 like he did last year, but maybe improved his yards per carry, on the receptions. I think that would be better. I mean, he did have one fumble last year. So, I love that. He's fumbled once out of 478 rushes. Well, actually, if you go by total touches, it's 621 times. He's fumbled once. But he's got to prove that he can. Now, he's never really had an injury history going back to college. He did have the high ankle sprain at Penn State. But he's got to prove that he can be the star player on a bad team. And that's all there is to it. You can't look at the McCaffrey situation and the Elliott situation because it's all different situations because of the fact that the Giants are a bad team. Elliott is on a playoff team. And McCaffrey has proven and has rushed. He's done more in the league than Barkley has done right now. And that's not a strike against Barkley, but McCaffrey has done more in the league right now. And it's not a slight against Barkley, but the Giants are not going to be in a hurry to turn around and drop huge amounts of money on Barkley right now. As I said, he's got $31 million guaranteed over the next 4 years with the 50, and we have the potential for a 5th-year option. So I mean, best case scenario to me is Barkley has a knockout season. I mean, he's got a knockout. He has a knockout season, and the Giants take a look at that and say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to try to extend you going into the 2021 season. Not in 2020, because the Giants aren't even going to look at this contract now. If I see one more time how the Giants are going to give this massive extension to Saquon Barkley, I'm going to turn Google off. Turn my Google alerts off because it's ridiculous. They're not going to. They may, like I said, if he knocks it out of the park in 2020, they may look at 2021 and give him the extension. Because then, like I said, even in 2021, in his 4th year, they still have opportunity for a 5th-year option and 2 more years of salary cap. I mean, not salary cap, 2 more years of franchise tags. Now, if you think about it, a high production value or high production window for a running back is usually 7 to 8 years. Especially someone that has the value of Barkley or what we think Barkley is going to be. Now, Barkley, when he comes up for his extension, could be anywhere between 24 to 25 years old. So he should still have a good 4 years of productivity in that window. And hopefully the Giants will move forward and progress so we do not waste Barkley's talents, because honestly, that is one of the biggest things I worry about is wasted talent. I think Cologito's father said it best. Nothing worse in this world than wasted talent. So we have to see, and that we have to see even in 2020 and 2021, what is the state of the Giants? Are we going to be moving forward to being a playoff team, or are we going to still be stuck in the doldrums? Because if we're stuck in the doldrums, we can't sign Barkley. We're going to have to take him and trade him for assets after 2021. Unless there's something that we think is miraculously, let's just say worst case scenario, and I don't think it's going to happen because I predict us making the playoffs next year. Let's say next year, 2020, we go 4-12, and the year after that we go, 5-11. If there's no hope on the horizon, they're not going to keep Barkley, so they're not going to even think about extending him. They may think about extending him to trade him, pull an Odell, but I think that's the best case scenario. So I think we all need to just slow down, pump the brakes. Let's not worry what Barkley is going to be worth in 2021. Let's get Barkley on track for 2020. Let Joe Judge do what he needs to do, get this offense clicking, get this team rolling, get everything moving, and then we can hopefully have Barkley, for the next 5 years after, the 5 seasons after his contract's expired. But like I said, when the team has think of it this way, when the team has control for his 4th year, a 5th-year option, and then potentially, 2 years of franchise tags, and the fact that that he is going to be, by the time he gets into the 2021 season, he is going to be the 6th highest paid running back in the league. It's different scenarios and different situations. So let's say this. Let's hopefully Barkley rocks. Let's hopefully Barkley just knocks it out of the park. Let's hope he rushes for 2,000 yards like I predicted he was going to. That was one of my bold predictions. And let's just hope he kind of goes from there. And let's move forward. And let's drop the silliness about the contract extension until sometime during 2021. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, if you could subscribe, if you could ring the bell, I think you all know what that means, but that'll be awesome.